Joining me now with more on the overnight riots, English news editor for Arutz Sheva News, Yoni Kempinski. Yoni, thanks for being with us. Now, what happened? How did things escalate to the point that they did?
So, Aaron, we have to understand that there are a few issues here. One is actually the social media platforms. We know that, for example, the incident in Jerusalem where an Arab slapped a Jewish boy, it was posted on TikTok by the perpetrators, and that's one phenomenon that we're seeing today. It's the footage of violent incidents being uploaded and posted. It's not by bystanders, who are standing there and seeing what's going on, rather by the attackers and their friends. Now, this, of course, motivates others, and that's one of the things that we're seeing. Another thing, of course, is the month of Ramadan, as the Arab youth look for something to do in the evening after the Ramadan prayers and all. So they start gathering, and a protest becomes, unfortunately, a violent mob. Regarding Jaffa, as well as in other places throughout the country, it's also about some Arabs being against any Jewish presence in areas which, we must remember, are located in central Israel and are historically part of the Jewish state. So that's what we're seeing here these days. It's about the yeshiva in Jaffa. It's about this issue of the presence of purchasing Jewish lands. And it's also coming regarding it's because of the month of Ramadan. But what we're hearing from activists is that this is worse than anything we've seen before.
So, many protesters called for continuing the riots and preventing Jews from living in Jaffa. Do you suspect that this is just the beginning of a larger ongoing demonstration?
I'll tell you what, there is a feeling that we are in the midst of something that will take a few days till it ends. But there is a bit of optimism because, these youths, some of them are Israeli residents, some of them are residents of Jerusalem. We're not talking about Judea and Samaria with Intifada and things like that, and people have to go back to their schools and all. There is a hope that someone will take responsibility at some point, and the violence will slowly fade away.
So what's being done to prevent violence from breaking out in the future?
So far, and it's mainly police activity. But one of the claims that we're actually hearing from activists in Jerusalem is that the local courts release those who are arrested very fast. So even if the police arrest many people in the riots, they'll be out going home very fast. So the main demand now that we're hearing from local activists in Jerusalem, at least, is that the courts need to act strongly to deter potential attackers in the future. In addition, some are demanding that the police actively increase their response to attacks, including even firing towards stone throwers, because what these activists remind us is, as we know, a stone can kill. In addition, there is demand for more dialogue and action from Arab leaders, but I at least heard Arab MKs today, and they do not want to condemn the riots, and they're mainly trying to explain the Arab side, and we're not seeing that yet. And the hope is that we'll see also the Arab leaders condemning and trying to, bring the violence to an end.
Well, so it's often been noted that outside forces come to Jaffa and to instigate violence, making it seem like residents are behind it when they're not. Who was at the protests and the riots last night, outsiders or residents? Who instigated this?
No, so I'll tell you the truth, Aaron, it is probably a mix of the two. We know that many Arab residents of Judea and Samaria, they reside in the Arab neighbors of Jaffa and also, of course, in the areas of Jerusalem. However, our correspondent who was at the protest and the riots yesterday, he heard from locals that many of the rioters are from the area. So it might be, for some easier to feel that it's some people coming from outside. But these events and these incidents do influence what's going on in the neighborhoods in Jerusalem and the neighborhoods in Jaffa and other places around the world. So it really seems to me a mix of the both. And it's very important to understand that this is something that's happening in Israel with Israeli Arabs who are part of these mobs, these riots.
All right, Yoni Kempinski, thank you so much.
Thank you.